somebody say something about don't miss it.
Oh, I can't.
Be there.
Listen, be there because tonight it was on fire. What's happening, everybody, and welcome to another episode of a Wild Time podcast. Thank you all for your subscriptions, your likes, and your shares. Man, listen, I just had a episode with the legendary Chick Donovan, and it was awesome, man. He was a wealth of knowledge. Bo, you remember Chick, don't you?
Oh, yeah. I grew up watching Chick Donovan.
He was everywhere. Chick Donovan, if you haven't seen it yet, please go give it a watch, give it a like, give it and subscribe and share the thing because it's awesome. And he's already got several likes. We had Monique Dupree on the original Gata. She's been in a lot of horror movies. She was trained by Tommy Dreamer. She's doing a lot of wrestling shows at the moment. We've had everybody on. And tonight, I get to have the crew, not Motley Crue, but Bo's Tractor Works, the family. Listen, this is I said it earlier. I said they need to do a reality show on this. It'd be better than Duck Dynasty. They make the amazing product, which has been the rave lately. The Appalachian Hills 11, which, if you know me, I keep it on me at all times. It's to the point where my wife knows it now, and it's just been. So many good things have happened recently since you guys have been on. I mean, the word has got out big, man.
Yeah.
The word has got out. So I'll shut up, guys. How's it been going?
It's been going great, Adam. We got back last weekend. We went to Monticello.
That's what we were going to talk about.
Where me and Jackie went to celebrate my birthday.
Man.
55.
And looks like you're 35.
It's that cream.
It is. Hey, listen, I will vouch for that. But you guys went down. You got a good steak, didn't you? And Jackie shot a promo looking like Miss Elizabeth out there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you all just had a heck of a day.
We did. We went down there. We had a good drive down. Got us a room. Spent the night. Didn't want to run down there and run.
Oh, it's rough, man.
And ate at the Black Stallion Steakhouse. And then went and watched some super good wrestling.
Oh, yeah. That was what we were talking about, man. And you ran into a fan that had heard about this product in central southern Kentucky, which is Monticello. How did that happen? Her name was what? Sylvia Ramsey? Was that what it was?
Sylvia. And I'm sure she'll probably watch her podcast now. Tonight.
Like and subscribe to it now, Sylvia.
And me and Jackie's wearing the same shirt Wayne's got on right now. The Bo's Tractor Works t-shirt,
That one glows in the dark. No, that one glows in the dark, I bet.
And, so she recognized us, and she actually recognized us from Stan Sierra's Facebook. Stan,
a heck of a wrestler. He's in the Kentucky Hall of Fame, and he is a big believer in this also. And if Stan puts it over, it's got to be good.
Yeah. And which pretty neat. We got to talk a little bit to Stan. We got to talk to Sylvia and her husband. Got to talk to Stan's wife, Katie. Got to talk to Jimmy Walls, promoter of the wrestling. He got some for his hips and knees.
Man, Central. I mean, this guy. These boys are from Coon Creek, Kentucky. I mean, that's Pikeville. That's right up the road here. But for your product to make its way, I mean, word of mouth is catching on, and for it to get down there to Monticello, man, that's a haul. I mean, and hopefully we want it to keep migrating. We want it to keep going farther out west, on west. I mean, but you guys have been traveling to a lot of wrestling shows, and how did that come about? Did you all just say, I bet these wrestlers would,
me and Wayne. One evening, wasn't done. I think it was a Saturday back in the winter, wasn't it, Wayne? Yeah. And it came up on Facebook that Ricky Morton was going to be down by Johnson City, Bluntville.
Yeah.
And I asked Wayne. I said, "Man," I said, "I grew up watching Ricky." I said, "Let's go down and talk to him." I said, "I know." And of course, we're all time carrying our saves and wearing our shirt and. Ricky and Curry, his son, we got there early because it was a long drive for us. So we get there early, and Curry's like, "Man, I really like these shirts. What kind of shirt you got on?" And I started telling him a little bit about our Appalachian Hills 11 cream. And I said, you know, you guys are welcome to try it. I said, y'all take some pretty good bunks in here. And Ricky's like, oh Lord, yeah, give me one, you know.
Yeah.
So, and then we got to really concentrating on wrestling. And I'll tell you, man, as far as a sport, I don't think there's much tougher sports out there, you know, as far as having to strenuous training
Yeah.
and getting in the ring.
Conditioning.
Yes.
Just it's just a whole lot to it. And then we got to talking to Ricky a little bit about it. And he's like, oh gosh, yeah. He said, man, this hurts.
Mhm.
And-
It's and you know, Ricky Morton wrestled. Think about his schedule. I mean, from the time, I mean, still working.
Yeah.
And his schedule was, I mean, and Ricky wasn't just a big imposing heel that came out and beat everybody. Ricky was a white meat baby face that had to bump, sell. I mean, he had to get the crowd eating out of his hands, begging for him, you know, and that took a lot of punishment, man. He bumped all over the place.
He did. And I reckon, you know, Curry, his son, what is he, NWA junior heavyweight champion.
He's doing
right
really
now,
well right now.
And he's traveling everywhere, and I reckon he's at every event with him.
Oh
you
yeah,
know?
I'd imagine.
So he's still out there getting it, you know.
Well, like the thing that's so cool is, you know, we become really close friends, and we were at Jenkins with Wildfire Championship Wrestling. And the thing is, when I go to a show and they're there, we're setting up at a table together because we're good friends. We're good friends. We laugh. And I believe in this product. And if you come over to me and you buy a picture or something, I'm going to have these jokers rub a little bit on you and let you, you know, because like I said, I've got this jar right here that was specially made for the Human Horror movie.
Yes.
And it's basically become like a sample jar. Like if I see somebody that, you know, I'll say, hold on, I got something for you. And I'm going to show you how I use this. Like right now, man, I just did a pretty tough workout and I've not felt the best in the last few days, but my elbows and this muscle right here, it seems to bother me a little bit, but I'll take this and get on the back. This is how Bo taught me at a wrestling show.
Yeah.
Put it on the back of the elbow, come all the way around the front and rub it in good. Now it's going to get you a little green, but you remember the Hulk, man, when he turned green, good things happen for him, you know, I mean, not for the other people, but you know, and that smell is pleasant, you know, it'll open you up. Like I said, I got one of my friends, Jimmy Campbell, he got it for his mother, who's an older lady. And no, I'll tell you, it was Josh, wasn't it? Said he put it under his.
Yeah, Josh. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it was. He put it under his eyes, I think.
Right on his cheekbone, right on top of his nasal cavities.
But this has helped my elbow. I'm not even joking with you. I had a steroid shot and an anti-inflammatory shot, and it helped a little bit. But when I put this on, no joke, when I put this on, Bo was not joking. Bo knows salve. He said immediately you will feel some relief. And I mean, just to see, I could only imagine, you know, my reaction because I was just blown away. But that's how you do it right there. You keep rubbing. I rub it in for a little bit, man. I try to.
You have to. I mean, you do. It's a real deal stuff, and it takes a little bit of work to get it in. It ain't something you're just gonna slap on and go, you know.
And it's a like I said, man. It like already I feel relief. And I took that jar to a basketball game over at Letcher County, and there was an elderly lady there that had a bad hip, and I was telling my good friend Jimmy about it. Well, it was Jimmy's mother-in-law. They took and put it on her hip, and they came back out and said, "Do you sell it?" I was like, "I can get it for you."
Yeah.
I mean, it was that fast, and I mean, it's just and Wayne is the man that puts he's the mad scientist of this. I'm saying Wayne, how does it go? Like when you just sit down and you decide you're going to do a day of salve making, how long does it take you to?
Probably about 4 to 6 hours, depending if I put labels on that day or not.
So you cook it down. I mean, you put everything together, cook it down, and just does it take a long time to start putting them in the jars or?
Yeah, it takes a little while to fill up each jar. We do it by hand.
And then we label it by hand, so
Yeah.
there's that needs a little bit of time. You gotta be pretty precise in that.
Yeah, you gotta make sure your jars are clean, lay them all out.
So
Fill up
we do
everything that
clean-
fills it. and then start filling one by one until it gets to the right spot. Slap a lid on it whenever it's hardened.
Now, this is an actual jar of it here, as you can see. This ain't a human horror movie jar. This here is a legit jar. I sell them down here. I've been selling them. People's been buying them and meeting me. I've been running them to their house if they've needed me to. We'll find a way to get it.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
me and Bo and the boys have always said that. We'll find a way to make sure you.
Someone need, man, at the funeral home, I got it there, so.
So every,
Spread out.
yeah, and I've worked with a guy, you know, Scott, and
Yeah.
Scott's a big believer in it. You know, he had his finger, he could hardly move it. Well, he rubbed it on and stuff, and he was like, I mean, just blown away. But it's just like you said, man, it's making its way. Monticello, I mean, that's a pretty good, and you all have been a breath of fresh air to the wrestling community. I mean, everybody knows y'all now, and heck, you sponsored All-Star Championship Wrestling show, and that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and we got to talking. I mean, I've been talking, but we were speaking before we started the show about combat sports, you know, and I used to fight. I used to be MMA fighter and boxer, and in my 20s, and training for those sports are, how can I explain it? Miserable, really. I mean, the repetitions.
Beyond brutal. It's just, repetitious. Your conditioning, you gotta really love it.
Yeah, and I had, you know, Brandon Goff, you all are related to. He was my trainer, and he put me through some really, really tough, and put you some, both you.
He put me through it.
And
I'm an old man. I like
Me and Wayne went down there, I think 2 or 3 times a week to train with him.
And Brandon's such a good dude, man. He does. I mean, he is
Great teacher.
Yes,
Yeah.
and you don't hear bad language out of him, man. I mean, he's just a stand. Like, he's a guy that I would send my kid to work with.
You can trust him.
Yeah. And but anyways, we were talking, and I said, for boxers who punch, not, you know, training sessions, to put this on before they train and put it on afterwards, man. I would imagine, you know, because when you box and you're training MMA, the amount of punches during training is crazy that you do.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd imagine, you know, that if you was to put this on, because I know there's some, I'm pretty connected with a lot of the MMA gyms around here and stuff, and I'd imagine that would help.
it would just keep those muscles from fatiguing out.
Yeah.
You know, your legs ain't gonna give out, your arms ain't gonna give out. You're gonna be able to keep your guard up through the whole however long. You know,
You're not gonna be sitting there wondering when your second win's gonna come, because you're gonna be worried about it.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you though, as far as like this muscle down here, and that always got sore on me when I had to punch a lot, you know, when I was training on the heavy bag or something. And I could imagine that the relief I get out of it right now, I wish I'd had this stuff 14, 15 years ago, you know, I would have been pretty relieved. But like I said, yeah, all the MMA guys that watch this, I know Figure 4 Academy on Chloe, you know, those guys up there, Justin Holloway, if I could get him to try that, because he rolls a lot, jiu-jitsu guy. Josh Steps, another guy that I'm really good friends with, and he's got down Prestonburg at his gym. I could probably hook him. I want you guys to try that and let us know what you think, you know, guys that's in there, because we can tell you right now, pro wrestling, you all have been you've tested the waters there, and it's been a astounding yes.
And here's another thing with the training and everything. You ain't gonna get muscle cramps, you know, like generally, and that will stop anything. You get a muscle cramp in a fight or training, and it's just over. I mean,
What do you all think? I guess that'd be a good question for Wayne. What do you think in the salve takes care of the muscle cramps?
Probably a combination of everything we have in there. You got your CBD and CBG are both anti-inflammatories. Your turmeric, your ginger, your cayenne, all that's anti-inflammatory. So your muscle spasms just gonna be, or cramps gonna be inflamed mostly.
Mm-hmm.
I'd assume, anyways.
But when people's been talking to me, they're like, "How does that work so fast? How does it, you know, immediately work?" And I mean, I obviously don't know the science behind it, but the first thing was like, man, you know, cayenne pepper will open you up. You know, and I imagine that may have a lot to do with opening up.
And it helps break through your body's barriers, like your skin barrier, and all that stuff. It helps it get through, opens your pores.
And it helps with your blood circulation too, get more
Yeah,
blood
so
there.
I mean,
Yeah, and that could also be really big in your training. You want to get some blood flow.
Oh,
you
gosh,
know?
yeah.
you want to make sure
It's
your
carrying the
body knows
oxygen.
it. Yeah, it's got to feed it.
Well, I'm gonna tell you another thing. Like I said, they have another, I've got this kind of in my head. Bo told me to put this on first. So what I'm going to attempt to do is I'm going to try to open it with my right hand, or actually I'm going to try to keep this. I'm going to let Bo open it for me. But this is the AW, and I put it on every morning. Bo puts it on every night, right?
Yes.
I put it on every morning on my way to work. I start putting it on my face, and my face feels better. I don't know, man, what it is that's in that.
It's just soothing.
It is. So what I do is I take, you see that, soothing, and I'll put it on my forehead, man.
It smells great too.
Yeah. And then I'll put some right here because I wear a CPAP machine. I got sleep apnea, and that mask will rub me raw through there. And those guys at work have even been noticed. They said, man, you don't even break out through there anymore.
I've noticed that since you've been doing that.
And I said, buddy, it's the AW. So yeah, the AW. What all would you say, Bo? This is because this is going with me to Mexico and Key West because it's really good on sunburns.
Oh,
I've used
gosh,
it
yeah.
on sunburns.
It's actually better than anything for a sunburn that we have found, you know. And it just repairs that damaged skin. It starts working on it immediately. And I don't know if it's it's really skin stuff altogether.
That's what I was
you
going to
know?
say. What all do you put in that, Wayne, in the AW?
That's just your oatmeal and your hemp and coconut oil and beeswax.
That's it.
Yeah.
3 strains of hemp, oatmeal, coconut oil, and beeswax.
And the way we came up with oatmeal, people ask me that a lot. We used to, I watched my grandparents and dad and mom, and they'd make poultices, oatmeal poultices, if
Yeah.
anybody's ever heard of that, for animals that's got snake bit or what have you. And it just worked.
Yeah.
So that's how we came up with putting that actually in Duracide.
So did you put that on the horse that got bit, or was it this Appalachian
The
Hill?
Appalachian Hills 11.
Okay. This horse got bit by, what was it, a copperhead or rattlesnake?
Looked like got hit a couple times in the face by probably copperhead.
Well, it swelled up, man, big. And Bo had I guess you guys all seen that, but he showed me a picture of it, and it looked like the elephant.
And half his face was just.
Yeah.
So they wiped it on, and you noticed that it helped it, right?
Well, not only did it help it, if you ever a horse, yeah, they're pretty big and they can handle a snake bite, but they're gonna lose all that meat around that wound.
Yeah.
And they're gonna lose the hair. This one didn't lose nothing. The swelling, it took the swelling down within 24 hours, and it just worked on that horse. So,
And I'd imagine any animal I would
Yeah.
put it on. I mean, the guys that coon hunt with the dogs or beagles that hunt rabbits, they get bit by snakes a lot. I'd put it on there, wouldn't you?
oh yeah, I would. And I told Jackie, I said, if I do get snake bit, go and put it on. Please take me to the hospital.
Yeah, they might need to shoot some antivenom
Yeah.
too on that. Big announcement. Bo's Tractor Works. We've been promoting it. I mean, I've been promoting it like crazy since we've met. And there's some big news with this because was it 2 days ago?
Yesterday.
Yeah. Oh, my bad. Yesterday, they went to Mountaintop Media, met with Jerry Scott up there, and they've made a deal to have their product put on a broader spotlight. They're going to be getting commercials. They're going to be on several different radio stations. And Jerry is a big believer in you guys.
Jerry now.
So be listening for it.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Jerry's talking to our old buddy Bo, and Jerry had some hurt ribs, and I went over for something. I can't remember. I know what it was. He gave Max a shirt. So I went over to Jerry's and I took some of this over there, and man, he was took back too. I mean, my mom, everybody that's come in contact with it. So he is really, really like, you're his first client.
Yeah. Yeah. And
He loves it.
Yeah.
yeah. And, he's got some skin issues. That's what he's actually contacting me about now. And we're working on it. And pretty well amazed.
Well, I
Yeah.
mean, I was there and, I
Yeah.
seen it firsthand because we're really close friends. And it's just everybody that's used it, man. And it's just going to keep getting better and better. But I'm telling you right now, you all getting on Mountaintop Media and having your product put out there for so many years to hear, dude, I think that Wayne's going to have to hire him some help out there. I mean, I think I think he's going to have some more hands because you got Dr. Sanders. I guess you've been pretty good. How did you all get up with Dr. Sanders?
Okay, I'm looking through Facebook and Minuteman Medicine, and I see that he's complimenting and talking about different types of CBD products and CBD stuff. And Dr. Sanders was on that Minuteman Medicine.
Yeah.
So I sent him a message and said, hey, we're kind of local, I said, would you care giving our stuff a try? And for one thing, it wasn't to try to sell it to, his patients or anything. I really value his opinion.
Yes. That means more than anything.
Yes. And he's like, yeah, sure, write down. So we put our little packet together and brought it down to him. And sure enough, he calls me and he goes, man, this stuff is going out the door pretty fast. He said, I'm actually starting to use it on the patients here in my practice. So that led us to sending more to Dr. Sanders, because he's actually, he's finding, and he's a doctor that he ain't one that's just going to push some kind of pharmaceutical on you.
Yeah.
He's a doctor that wants to fix you. I mean, he ain't worried about pushing
pharmaceuticals. Pills.
I mean, he will
if he needs to. Yeah.
But if he needs to.
Yeah.
If there's an alternate route
He
that's
prefers-
safer.
Yeah.
And he's like, this is all natural. I said, yeah. And so he started just using it and selling it out of his practice for us. And to me, that just means the world because I've got to know him.
Yeah.
And you talk about a sharp,
intelligent man.
Oh gosh, yeah. You can tell whether it's a doctor or anybody you sit down and talk to him.
Yeah.
I mean, and you can tell. And Dr. Sanders, I mean, he's got an answer for your question.
Yeah.
And
and speaking of Dr. Sanders, he's on TikTok and he's daily. He's always put and Facebook, and it's Minuteman Medicine. Is that right?
Yes.
Minuteman Medicine. Dr. Sanders. He's over at Hi Hat. Like I said, for him, he's not just going to put a product out there. He's
no, he don't need a novelty sitting on his shelf.
Right.
You know.
If you do check him out on TikTok, he has a really interesting series about exposing Western medicine.
Yeah.
And it's phenomenal.
Western medicine. Seemed like I seen that on his Facebook. But I've seen his post on the AW. I think it was today.
Yep.
I think he did one on AW today.
And he did the heels yesterday.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. We watched those at work. But I mean, having a doctor in your corner when you're, you've got, don't you have chiropractors also that sell it?
Yes, we have a chiropractor that actually uses it, and what she does with it is after she gets done working with the patient, she'll apply the Appalachian Heels 11 on them. But that way they don't walk out of the shop sore and wore out, And
I'll tell you, I've been there, getting my treatment there, and actually seen people come up to the counter just to buy that jar.
Yeah, requesting it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna tell you another testimony on it. My wife used it the other day. She had a bad menstrual cycle, I guess how you would put it. For like the first 2 or 3 days, man, she's really she's in pretty rough shape. And so we put it on her stomach and lower abdomen, man. And she was like, yeah, I feel a little bit of relief. And that's, any woman out there that has to deal with that, they know how miserable it can be. And to know that can help is a big deal, man.
That's what Jackie told me because I was telling her about it, and she goes, "Oh my goodness!" She said, "I never thought about that."
Yeah.
She said, but yeah, that if it helps with something like that, so because that's really miserable
Mhm.
for
Oh yeah,
a
yeah.
woman, you know.
And it's just, I mean, and Lindsay's a tough critic, buddy. Like she's a tough critic. And if she gives it the thumbs up, then you've done something.
And we run into a lot of tough critics, you know, because so much stuff has went around
Mhm.
that just been junk. I mean,
I mean,
and,
yeah, the
and
CBD
nobody wants to waste their money. I don't want to waste
Right.
my money, you know, whether it's $25 for a jar of this, or if it's you know, a bad carburetor buying for a motorcycle. You know, you don't want to waste your money.
The guy, and we were over at Jenkins, and there was an older gentleman there, and I was trying to talk to him, to use it. He was a coal miner, I think, and he was worried that he would fail a drug test. So, I mean, is there a high probability of that, Bo, or what have you seen so far?
We have actually, well, we started out with my aunt, Dean, who, I mean, she stays covered with that honor. And I actually got a UA and took to her and did it, because this was a year or so ago. I wanted to find out for myself before the probability of you failing a drug test with this side, our highest one is 0.01% THC.
Is that the Hills 4?
Yes, and that's less than a trace amount. And I believe y'all actually put it in a jar.
Scott Johnson did, yeah. He diluted it into a water form and tested it, and it came back. And I've been monitoring myself also. I've been testing, and I've been coming back clean.
And I understand that. I mean, yeah, it's scary because it's so new.
Yeah,
you know, it's a new thing that's coming out on the market, and you see it working, but haven't got a few years to retire. Hey, we ain't gonna jeopardize that. Right. You know, we'll stay with a stiff elbow, her arm for that. But so far we've had nothing, and I really don't see that it's got enough THC. Wayne, what do you?
I don't think it has enough in it to show up. Go through your skin, through your blood, through your liver, through your kidneys.
Right.
That 0.013%, not much.
No, and you're talking about it's already the legal limit. Actually, the federal legal limit is 0.3%.
0.3%.
And this is 0.01%. So you know that's very little.
You guys have your stuff sent off and habit tested and everything, don't you?
Yes, we do.
And they test for every cannabinoid that's possible.
So this stuff has been like going through the test. I mean, they gave me a book, and I carry that book around and I'm like, all right, so this, because they've got it broke down in this, what it helps, what the AW helps, and then you turn the page, and then there's all these numbers and stuff. It's all Greek to me, but you guys can probably break it down easy.
Wayne can.
Well, no, we send off every batch to get tested, so it's not like we just tested the first batch and said, all right, well, that's it.
Yeah.
Every single batch we send off to get tested.
And that's why you got the batch numbers on them.
It's accountability.
Anytime we switch something up in it, we're going to shoot it straight to cannabis in Lexington and get our report back on it.
Get our results back first.
Well, that's awesome. How often you guys do that? I guess you wouldn't have to send off a whole big bunch of it or nothing.
You send off a jar just like that.
Yeah.
And
It's not too often, really.
no, it's not. Because we're still using the exact same hemp, the same ingredients. Our big one was when we start pressing it different, and that's why we increased the cannabinoids. So we wanted to find out what we did increase and everything. Like batch 3 that we got.
The batch 3, that's what I use.
It's THC free. I mean,
the
AW. Yeah, the AW is THC free. All batches of it is, and the way we got to the batch 4, we was experimenting, and we want that. I mean, we want that strong.
Yes.
side.
Yeah, and
Well, if you, that book may have, I know one of the books has it, but on that batch 3, I know a lot of people think, well, you say TH free, but really, no, I mean, the panel actually says not detected.
Yeah.
So
right there's the book. I put it right in
They
front of
can't
mine.
even-
I sell it down here.
They
Yeah.
can't even detect it in the lab, so.
So if I can't detect it in the side, they
It
are definitely not.
Well,
Definitely.
and I'll tell you this, I use the 3 and it works amazingly. I've never tried the 4 just due to that, but my mom uses 4. She's like, get me the
four.
toughest, you
That was
know.
good.
Yeah, and but now the 3 helps me, so I've been able to.
And but the 3 still, it's still better than anything you're gonna go get, you know.
Right.
And but the 4 is a little bit better than the 3.
Well,
It's good.
I mean, I've just if the 3 takes care of me at the moment,
Right.
When,
exactly.
but now I will use the 4 one day. I promise.
Oh,
Yeah.
I can imagine 55-year-old Adam out down here, and after a workout, which I get to retire, Lord willing, at 46. So
That's
it ain't really that far off. You know, it's
Been
it's
a lot of traveling with pro wrestling.
yeah. Well, I don't know if I'll be able. I'm starting to wonder if if the light at the end of the tunnel on pro wrestling is starting to get a little dim. I hope it ain't. You know,
It ain't. It's like Stan. I mean, man, you see him in the ring.
mhm.
Just,
Stan's a smart worker too.
Yeah.
He's a smart worker. He knows what to do. He knows he ain't got to. He can take care of himself and his opponent. And in pro wrestling, taking care of your opponent is number one. I mean, that's the code of the the boys. You trust each other with your body.
Mhm.
You know, you don't get out there and mess that trust up. Stan's always been. You'll never hear nobody speak bad about Stan Sierra. That's why him being behind this product too, big deal.
Yeah, it is.
But speaking of pro wrestling, I wanted to give a little bit of a tease. If anybody's been on my Facebook in the last 24 hours, you've probably seen a picture of the Human Horror movie in his insidious demon get up in front of the old Wheelwright gym. And I spent many years wrestling over at Wheelwright and loved that crowd. A lot of good people over there. They love their wrestling. We've had some knockdown. I mean, I think I probably got my first concussion at Wheelwright when JT Walker hit me with a chair. But let's just say the way I've been trying to put it, Bo, I've been thinking today, how can I put this without putting it? And the way I came up with it was July 4th at Wheelwright. There will be fireworks, and then there may be some wildfire works.
Yeah, just be there.
Just be there.
Yeah.
Wildfire works. So
Definitely need to be there.
I mean, the Human Horror movie may show up over that way, and hopefully we can put something out a little bit later. Can't say nothing yet. Just might want to keep an eye on that.
Yeah.
But tonight, my boys will be here, won't you? Y'all be over there.
Yeah.
If something happens, they'll be there. And they're always there. There's a big event tomorrow night in Logan that Bo's may go to, ASW, and I think Appalachian Wrestling also. They're doing like a joint promotion thing, and I think Brian Pillman Jr., Tony Atlas, a lot of stars.
Is Tommy Rich gonna be there?
Possibly. I think Tommy Rich may be there.
I think so too.
Well, Tommy is a firm believer in the Hills 11. We put it, or Bo put it on his knee, and that's a funny story about me and Bo. We were set up at the table, and Tommy's bumped his butt off. I mean, his matches with Buzz Sawyer, he needed to be showered in that stuff.
Oh gosh,
after
yeah,
that. So Bo give me 2 jars. He's like, hey, see Tommy and Bill back there, give them one apiece. And I went back there, and Tommy was getting ready, and I said, listen, dude, I said, I know you gotta get ready for your match, and I don't want to bother you. I said, but let's try this out. It's a cream for you. And he's like, Lord, yeah, I'll try that after the match, brother. And I was like, hey, we'll talk about it. And we had him on Wild Time podcast right after the show. That was a good night, wasn't
That was real good.
we had a good time. Yeah. The whole Matheny bunch, except Jackie. Was Jackie there?
No, Jackie was not there.
Now, Will, your wife came, didn't she? Yeah, I mean, Wayne was there, wasn't you?
Yeah, mine's there.
And Greg, I mean, it was just, everybody was there. It was a good night. We set up. Heck, they went live on both Tractor Works. Will was announcing. We had just a good time, man. And so there's going to be some announcements coming up about some wrestling that I'm involved with in the next few weeks. So keep an eye on that. And I hope these guys are with me because we set up a table and you guys come over, talk to us. You ain't got to buy nothing. Just come over and hang out with us. And, you know, that's the best part,
Yeah.
meeting people, man.
Getting to talk to people.
And you never know. There may be a Sylvia, what's her name?
Sylvia Ramsey.
Sylvia
Yeah,
Ramsey.
in the crowd, you know, and that, you know, that did shock me and Jackie, you know, we're like, and she's like, hey, you know, the ones that sell the signs. We're like, yeah. And like,
Vince McMahon done a thing back in the early 90s called ICO Pro or something like that, where he tried to like get protein because Vince was starting a WBF, World Bodybuilding Federation. He wanted to do a side, kind of like bodybuilding with storylines and stuff. And that was what Lex Luger couldn't wrestle for WWF at that time because he was still under contract with WCW, but he could do the WBF thing,
Right.
World Bodybuilding Federation. And then they started putting out protein and starting trying to put out stuff. But this is kind of like got that feel to it. It's got a pro wrestling friendly feel to it, I guess you would say.
Well, it's a very positive attribute to pro wrestling. I think.
Or any combat sports like we
Yeah.
talked about, I think.
Yeah, I mean, you can put this on and get out in your vehicle and drive all day long. I mean,
It's been I'd say it's the good Lord has blessed you guys with the knowledge and the attributes and everything to be able to put this together because a lot of, and I've seen it, you know, I've seen it help my mom. And that night when, my mom had several surgeries, she got a steel rod in her back. I mean, she's just been in a lot of pain. She's back and forth doctor's appointments. And when I took that up her, and you know, my brother got her something a while back and she didn't try it, but you know, I took it up and I was like, Mom, try this. Just try it.
yeah,
I mean, I used the 3.
yeah,
And it was the 3 for her. She
yeah,
used it.
yeah. Mhm.
And she called me back later that night and she was like, Adam, she said, she didn't know what to say. She said, where did you get that at? And I was like, well, my buddies make it. And she's like, do you think I can get some of that? I said, I don't know. I said, I'll message Bo. And it wasn't a day or two later, buddy. You were down here and gave Mom some. And she's, you know, she done a testimony on
Yes,
she was
she
holding
did.
it.
And that's what it's about. I mean, getting to actually help somebody, you know, we ain't out here trying to scratch it, get $1 by no means. It's actually at the end of the day, if you get to help somebody, that just means the world to
That's
us,
worth
you know.
it.
Another thing, man, that I've noticed helped with headaches. Remember that night
Mhm.
over at Jenkins? I had the awfulest headache because now Misery, he legitimately grabbed iron claw and slammed me, man. And when I did, you know, when I bumped, my head hit that, and I was like, I felt dehydrated. I felt rough, and I was like, man, I think I said, I wish I had a Motrin the size of a football. And then Bo was like, well, here, we can fix that. And then we done the old, I look like a Native American warrior. He's like, well, rub it in, go around this way and stuff.
I actually went and got some paper towel.
Yeah, I looked.
Adam reaches in there and gets it and just starts getting it.
Yeah, and there's a specific way you do it, right?
Yeah.
To the temple, and then earlobe to earlobe.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, I'm getting better. I don't look like a swamp thing now when I do it.
Yeah, because we was getting ready to do that podcast with Tom.
Yeah. But like, if you want, like, before we get off here, if you want a jar, there's a phone number on here. It's 606-205-2668. And it's BTW, Bo's Tractor Works. I mean, you can see it. I share it all the time. If you're on my Facebook, you're seeing stuff every day that I share. And like I said, the skin cream, great for sunburns. I mean, I put it on my face. Bo actually told me this story, and this is if you see him, man, he just turned 55 and he looks 35. No joke. He said that he puts this on. He started putting it on, and he noticed his wrinkles in his face started kind of
Crow's feet started going on.
Yeah, because I had horrible crow's feet. I'm out in the sun
they were
all
deep.
day long, every
They were
day.
deep and long.
And I'm just putting it on as a trial to make sure it was good. You know, we that's another thing. We try our own stuff.
Yeah.
I mean,
We ain't trying to hurt nobody.
right. We're gonna make sure that it works for whatever it is. You know, I was telling Adam, I got out there today and tried to break that Appalachian Hills down in a workout. And
tell him about that, Bo. That was interesting, dude.
granted, I'm not Schwarzenegger or nobody about
You dang on good shot. I mean, you strong, a big, strong farming country man. I mean, and you work out.
Yeah.
I mean, you take care of yourself, dude.
Greg had to go to Lexington. He usually works out with me every morning. And so I put it on all the major muscle groups, legs, abs, chest, and back. And I get up there today and just go at it with everything I could. And sure enough, nothing hurt. I was exhausted.
Yeah.
But as far as muscles, nothing hurt until I started to walk into the house out of the weight room. And then I go up some steps. And I felt a cramp coming on my hamstring and right butt cheek. And I'm like, I didn't put none on that before I started. I covered everything else up. And I'm like, I'll just let it go. And then I get to thinking, no, I'm not an idiot. I'm gonna run in there and put that on. And sure enough, as soon as I put it on, that cramp started, it just gone. I mean, it's like it never even existed. I reckon we could get this to who gets those leg cramps in basketball? LeBron James.
Oh yeah, he could have used a jar like that, couldn't he?
Man,
Saved a lot of
I thought
face.
of that.
Paul Pierce could have.
Yeah.
It seemed like he got them. A lot of, I'm gonna tell you, I put it on my son I think he's hit a growth spurt this summer, and his Achilles, has been bothering him a lot. They've been playing a lot of summer ball, and he wanted to go down one night and work out at the dome and shoot ball and stuff, and his little feet was bothering him, and I put it on around his legs or around his ankles and he said he felt a difference. I mean, and he's 13 years old, so. Cramps I witnessed Chick Donovan had a cramp after we got off air, because usually when we get off doing an episode, I stay on Zoom, even though the recording's over. I'll hang out and talk for a few minutes, thank everybody for coming on. And Chick had a heck of a cramp.
Yeah.
I mean, it was brutal. I felt awful for him. And I talked to him and his wife, and I told him, I said, now Chick, that stuff I've been talking about, the CBD salve, I said, dude, that will help you tremendously. And I said, if I know Bo like I think I know Bo, he would be more than glad to send you a couple jars. And his wife was putting an ice pack on his leg there, and she's like, Lord, that would be awesome. And you was at it in the morning.
He should have. I tracked it today. He should have it probably get tomorrow, or he said no later than Saturday.
Well,
So
I'm telling you,
he'll have it.
Yeah, he and Chick was a heck of a guy, man. I mean, the dude said sinner's prayer before we got off the air, and
if you ain't seen that podcast, you need to watch.
Yeah,
that podcast.
it was fun, man. And when I started doing my homework on Chick, man, he has wrestled everybody.
Yeah,
I mean, you go to YouTube and you can think of a wrestler. I mean, just spin a wheel and it'll land, and type in verse Chick Donovan, and it'll come up.
I know it. And he's been doing. How long has he been doing this?
was it 76 or 78 or something? I think. I could be wrong. But man, he's a heck of a golfer too.
Is he?
Yeah, he loves golf. What else was it? He was a teacher. He's done a lot of stuff, man. He's a real intelligent guy, but that cramp, it was brutal. And I told him, I said, I've heard a lot of people that's had cramps, and it's been a miracle worker for them.
Yeah, that is a big thing, especially for me, it's a big thing.
Yeah. Which you stay out in the sun a lot, man. You probably, dehydrate. You're smart enough to carry water, I would say, but it's easy to do that when you're out there.
Well, I used to be very prone to them. It wasn't nothing 2 or 3 nights a week, 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. He's screaming for Jackie, get it away.
You're like an alien trying to come out of my cab one day, buddy.
Like, which leg? That's all she'd say. Which leg? Because nothing I could do is lay there just about to scream. But since I've been using this, I've not had no cramps at all. So other than today, but once again, I was trying to.
You was wanting to test it, the limits of it.
See just how far we could push it, and actually didn't have it on there. Yeah. So I gave out before the screen did. Let's put it that way.
Well, hey, listen, thank you guys again for coming on. And I love having you guys on all the time.
It's always a fun.
I mean, even if we don't, we'll always put over the side. You guys sponsor the show, but just hanging out with you fellas, man, y'all are a good family, and we share a lot of same interests and get knowledgeable about a lot of things. So Wayne, Will, and Bo, guys, thank you all for being on again. Like I said,
Thank you for having us.
Part 2.
We enjoy it.
We do. I like that.
We enjoy coming down and hanging out, and that's the podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only difference is we're sitting in front of here, you know.
And if you're a wrestling, if like I said, if you come to a wrestling event and you see us, come over and talk to the Matheny's because they're great people to talk to. I mean, they'll just come over. They'll let you try the salve. I've been carrying that jar around with me. They've had to give me another one. I mean, because I'm letting everybody try it, and I want them to.
And that's what we want too. We want that.
So shout out to Jerry Scott, also Mountaintop Media.
Jerry, yeah.
They're going to have some more exposure, and that's awesome. That's what we want. We want the word to keep traveling, and that's a heck of a step in the right direction right there, man. Getting on Mountaintop Media.
Yeah, getting with Jerry. Yeah.
So thank you again, Wild Time Podcast, the Matheny's, Bo's Tractors Works, Adam, the Human Horror Movie Newsom. This was part 2. I'm going to say we'll probably be like Friday the 13th and have about 13 or 15 of these episodes. Thank you for tuning in, and subscribe, like, and share, and we'll see you on down the road.